Hello, everyone. Welcome to Desi TV, your go-to platform for conversations, celebrations, and to hear about the voices that matter in this community. I'm Sajeev Keswan, and along with me, we have a very special guest here, Karthik Seetharaman, a long-time Sammamish resident,
Yes.
a father, a technology leader, and he's now running for the Sammamish City Council. As the elections are approaching, which you may know already, we have a great chance now to hear directly from someone who's going to shape the future of the city. Welcome, Karthik.
Thank you, Sajeev, and thank you, Desi TV, and thank you, all the viewers. Happy to answer any questions. That's it. Yeah, let's get started.
All right. So before we just get started, I just wanted to learn a bit more about you, Karthik. So what brought you here? What brought you to Sammamish? And what has been your immigrant journey? And as a father, and how all of this has shaped the vision that you have for the city?
Absolutely fantastic question. I think, we are all shaped by our life experiences. So I have 3 daughters, and I immigrated to this country in 1996. I lived in Pacific Northwest for almost 26 years, of which 13 years have been in Sammamish. We came to Sammamish mainly for the schools, for the abundant nature, the parks, the safe neighborhoods, and the amazing people that make up this community. Now that my kids have graduated, and I was watching some of the issues in the city that were cropping up, I decided I would give back to the community that has nurtured my family here. And one way of giving back is to run for the city council and sit in the council to decide on policies and decisions that will shape up the city's future. That's the driving force for me. I am, as you rightly, as you observed, as a dad, as a technology executive, I'm working at Amazon for the last 15 years. I've served on Sammamish Planning Commission for 2.5 years. I have run a small business in Sammamish as well. All of these life experiences gives you a broad view and ability to manage a broad spectrum of topics. Because a city, if it has to function properly, has to actually look at a broad spectrum of topics and balance them. So these life experiences give you that ability to balance various competing forces and do the right thing for the residents of the city. So my focus would be to serve the residents, listen and serve the residents of the city of Sammamish as their council member.
Great, Karthik. That's a wonderful vision that you have. But now we are in Desi TV, so I'll have to ask this. What's your favorite dish that you prepare at home? Maybe from your Indian descent. And I'd like to know if you cook them or you prepare them on your own.
Okay, if Dr. Paul is watching this, then it's salads, paneer, and no sweets. Okay, tofu, all good proteins. Those are for the Dr. Paul fans. For the non-Dr. Paul fans, it's a chole bhature and curd rice and pickles. I do not know how to make chole bhature, but curd rice is pretty easy to make. Wherever I travel, I try to find curd rice. Even in Mexico and Brazil, we figured out how to get curd rice, by the way. So that's what it is. My favorite comfort food is curd rice. And there is a dish called vatta korambu in Tamil Nadu, right? So that's pretty easy to make. So I can make some of the vatta korambus. But from a making dishes perspective, upma. I'm also the dosa master in my home. So
Wow.
My wife makes the batter and I make the dosas. So I also make good masala chai at home. So welcome anytime for a good dosa chai.
Great.
So,
I'm definitely going to show up there.
absolutely.
All right, now let's dive into some issues. Let's start with some city council basics here, Karthik. For viewers who may not know, we would like to know how exactly does a city council function, and what is the role of this member that you're running for?
Yeah. Think of city council as a board of a company. Right. So they set the policy. It's a legislative body of the city. So everywhere in America, there is the 3 branches of the governments, the executive, legislature, and judiciary. and the city council is the legislative body and sort of like a board for the city of Sammamish. There are 7 members in the city council. They deliberate, they bring in policy decisions to vote, and whichever policy decisions get the majority vote becomes the policy decisions. City council elections happen, once every 2 years. So this year, 4 positions go for polls, and in 2 years down the road, the other 3 positions will go for polls. I'm running for position 5. There are 3 people competing for position 5, and hence there is a primary that is currently in progress. So if you are a citizen of this country and you have registered to be a voter, you should have a ballot in your mailbox. And in this particular instance, I have to win the primary in order to be eligible for the general election in November. And then I'll have to win the November election to be sitting in the city council. It may look daunting, but with all your support, I'm pretty sure I can make it into both the elections.
Absolutely, that's great to hear about it. And also, like, is this a paid job? People always wonder, like, how much does a city council member make?
It is a paid job. I think it's about $1,800 a month. You get to spend about 10 to 15 hours a week in this job, reading the documents, guiding the city staff on various options, enacting the policies, spending time in the city hall in council meetings. So it is quite involved, and you do get paid $1,800 a month, I think.
I see. You're running for position 5?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And I believe there are 3 more candidates?
Yes.
Okay. So can you just walk us through that? Like, what does position 5 and with 3 members there? Like, is that like decided that the only 3 members can run? And what is the role of that position 5?
No. So position 5 is called an open position because one of the incumbents decided not to run. And so it became an open position. There is no limit to how many people can apply to run in a position. So, for example, one of the candidates in Bellevue, Vishal, I think he has 5 people running in his position. Another candidate in Redmond, position has 3 people running in it. So there is no limit to the number of people who run for any position. But when there are more than 2 people who are running, there will always be a primary. And the primary decides which 2 will go to the general election in November.
Got it. I believe, Karthik, you've served on the Planning Commission.
Yes,
previously,
I did.
And other civic efforts. So can you talk a bit about how that contributed or inspired you towards this vision?
Yes. As I said, various life experiences inspire you to take up this initiative in your life. Planning Commission definitely was one. When I started in the Planning Commission, we were looking to create the comprehensive plan, which was finally adopted in 2024. We were looking at the type of housing, how does, the character of the city would look like based on the type of housing. Right? The city council's decisions make up the character of the city. Are we a core city or are we a high density city? Do we have mass transit? Working with King County, can we bring, buses and, and other modes of transportation into the city? So there's a lot of impact that the city council has on your quality of life. So, I would highly urge residents to look at what the city council is doing. I would highly urge the citizens to pay attention to who is sitting on the city council and what their positions are, because what happens in the city hall impacts you more than what happens in Olympia or Washington, D.C. And so as a small business owner, as a parent, for example, I've driven my kids around all over, Issaquah, Redmond, Bellevue for various activities. So I feel that there is a lot of services that can be brought inside into the city so that families don't have to drive around a lot. Families can spend a lot of time with each other if we can cut down on this travel, right? So my focus would be to, this is where I say my life experience, right? As a dad, as somebody who's working in Seattle for the last 15 years, my commute, for example, they all make up, and my stint in Planning Commission on how the city actually works. I'm going to bring all of this together in how I work as a council member for the city of Sammamish.
Got it. We'd like to learn about the community concerns that we have and the city issues and how you would be planning to address those. So let's talk about safety. Recently, there's been some growing concerns about thefts targeting like elders. What can be done more to protect this community?
Yeah, so safety is always, top priority for the city. We contract with King County Sheriff's Office for providing safety and security within the city. The city council and the city government can do a lot in terms of raising awareness. Safety is also sort of a three-pronged strategy, right? As residents, we should be aware of what is happening and we should be well prepared as well. And the city council should be aware of what is happening with as far as safety is concerned. You'd be quite surprised to know that Sammamish is ranked as one of the safest cities in the United States. But when I speak to the residents, the data doesn't translate into a feeling. So you're not the first person to raise the point of safety. There have been others who have raised the issue of safety with, elders who are walking down the street have been attacked and, gold chains snatched and so on. So the approach would be for the city to educate people on what is happening. So the education is paramount. Residents should be prepared. So city should educate, residents should be prepared, and the city should be working very closely with King County Sheriff Office to increase patrols, to make more resources available for Sammamish. So those are the three things that I think will happen and should happen basically.
Absolutely. Just shifting the gears into property taxes and city finances. Property taxes have gone up recently in Sammamish and more than in some relatively nearby cities, I would say. What's your approach towards managing this moving forwards?
Yes, I mean in uncertain times like these, we also hear about various companies cutting down on spending as well.
Absolutely.
So the topic of property tax is paramount. So Washington State is run based on property tax. So that's our main source of income for a city to run its services. So it is very important for the city government and for the council members to take a good look at where that money is going. What are we spending that money on? So there has to be if you have done any budget planning for your home, you prioritize your spend, right? You prioritize your spend according to home and groceries and utilities and so on and so forth. So that's the rigor that we have to bring into the city budget planning.
Got it.
So that we don't exceed our expense beyond our revenue. Right now, City of Sammamish has 11.4 or 11.7 million in deficit for this year. And our city managers tell us that this deficit will continue to grow. So there is a need for somebody to get into the city council and have a hawk-eye view of where the money is going and how can we prioritize the spend so that essential services that add value to the residents are where we are spending our money on.
Got it. So to talk about the growth and infrastructure, so Sammamish is still growing. It's growing rapidly.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of homes coming up. So people tend to have a feel that growth isn't creating the growth in terms of how, in terms of infrastructure and the city plan as well. What changes would you propose here?
So, there are two types of growth at this point in time, right? Like there are, individual property rights that people have. For example, if you own a couple of acres or 3 acres, whatever, and you have an R4 zone, you have your own property rights to kind of develop that plot or a piece of land. And then, there are managed growth from the city, that satisfies King County's growth management, requirements. So my position would be to have a controlled growth within the city of Sammamish, mainly because we are a geographical island. We don't have freeways connecting Sammamish to any of the job cities that we have, like Seattle, Bellevue, or Redmond. Right. We don't have light rail link either. So we are a geographical island. We don't have major employers within the city of Sammamish. So we have to take all of that into account. Why do people come to Sammamish? They come for the good schools, for the nature, for the safe neighborhoods. So at the same time, how do you welcome new residents and what is the rate of growth of those new residents that can call Sammamish home? So that's where I would focus on is, how do we control, at the same time, keep the quality of life here So that's the challenge, and that's what we should be focusing on in the city council.
Got it. And how does this, Karthik, translate into traffic management, which has always been a concern, especially the Sahali Way and other routes?
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting if you actually look at traffic management. We have an AM and a PM traffic.
Right.
So during the school hours, the traffic is quite heavy, and in the morning as well as in the evening and the commute. So companies like Amazon, Meta can bring their buses into Sammamish, and we can use some of our public properties like the South Sammamish Park and Ride, for example, which is quite empty at this point in time, and people can park there and get the company buses and move on. So there's actually a House bill that is in progress. So we should, as a city council, should support the House bill and should push for it. So I think mass transit, in terms of private mass transit, is probably a better way to look at it. That will ease some of our traffic concerns. I think there have been other attempts where they change the school timings and so on and so forth. How do you encourage our kids to bike to schools would be one way to look at it. So partnering with LWSD and maybe giving them credits and so on and so forth. So in general, look at all the avenues that are available to us. Encourage biking for smaller distances. Bring in more restaurants, bring in more ballparks and other services inside the city, so you don't have to travel off of the plateau.
Makes sense.
Like, for example, emergency care.
Yes, we don't have an emergency care, isn't it?
Exactly, right? We only have urgent care.
Urgent care, correct.
In a city of 68,000, we don't have a post office.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Right. So there are a lot of foundational services that we need to bring inside the city, so we don't have to travel off of the plateau, and that's going to ease some of our pressures.
Right. We also hear that you're talking about a botanical garden or a place where you can bring folks together.
Exactly.
Like, what's that vision about, and what do you see how this will positively contribute towards the environment?
Well, Sammamish is a very beautiful city. We have we have a number of residents and organizations in Sammamish. Sammamish Stewards is an organization. Sammamish Botanical Society is an organization. We have a lot of master gardeners in Sammamish who maintain really good gardens in their homes.
Oh, nice.
It has been a long pending demand of these long-time residents and gardeners to have a botanical garden. In Sammamish, we have to, as a city, we have to play our strengths.
Right.
Our strength is nature here. We are on the shores of Lake Sammamish. We have really good weather, and we could have an year-round blooming botanical garden. Right. So I think there are we do have a plot of land. Talking to a few council members, I came to know that could be a possibility for a plot of land.
Oh, very good.
And so it is also a good revenue source, if you ask me. Right. People would be willing to pay $1 or $2. If you go transit via Marymore Park, Redmond collects $1.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So people are willing to pay for that $1 so that they can cut across through the Marymore Park. I'm pretty sure that we go from here to tulip gardens. We go from here to rose gardens. I mean, we go to Vancouver, BC to walk on those trees.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. We've got the best nature here. Yes.
So there's a lot of stuff that we have to play the strengths of our city.
Yes. Love that. Now, Karthik, I have to ask this. We are in Desi TV, and there's a community here asking, "Ye sab to theek hai, hamare liye kya hai?" So, what would you think your as an immigrant journey as well that we've discussed about? Like, how would you bring some of the unheard voices and
absolutely
across the diverse representation, because Sammamish has some diverse representations within the community.
Yeah, I did not when I put my hat in the ring. I did not know the impact it will have on our community, on the immigrant community, but somebody messaged me saying like, I became a citizen, but now your run for the society, for the city council, is inspiring me, and I feel included because of you.
Wow.
Right. So I did not think of all of that before I ran. I didn't want, so I also think that it is also inspiring a lot of youngsters to look at, running for political office. For example, one of my volunteer is a political science student in University of Washington. So they are learning from how, from my campaign and, the challenges and so on and so forth, right?
Very
So it's a ringside view that, we came here predominantly as technologists, and our kids have studied hard, but there's an aspect to the society where you want to be part of the political system as well. And I'll be open and transparent with you. The society inclusivity is all dependent on how you contribute to the society. So
Absolutely.
Sitting back and, complaining and being a Facebook warrior is one aspect of it, but, getting yourself out, voting and making sure that your vote counts, for example, is a great civic duty that every one of us have to do. Let's start with that.
Yes.
And I highly encourage others to come into the public space, run for offices, give a voice to our community as well.
So I think that's a very good segue we wanted to actually get to is how do people vote and when can they vote? So let's talk a little more about that.
Yes. So the primary election is currently on. That means that the ballot boxes are in your mailbox, or the ballots is in your mailboxes. We typically say, August 5th. And people think that August 5th is when they should go and vote. But that's not the case. You can vote anytime. The voting started from last Friday. Many of my supporters who got their ballots last Friday voted and sent me pictures.
Very nice.
So far, about 3,500 votes have been cast, which is very low. We have about 50,000 voters, or maybe 40,000 voters. Somewhere around that range, 45K is the voting base. And so you can, take the ballot box, code the names, color code wherever the oval box is. Make sure you sign it, and then go drop it off in the City of Sammamish Dropbox or South Sammamish Park and Ride. I took my ballots and I dropped it in South Lake Union at my workplace, right outside of Amazon offices. There's a big box in Dawson. Right? So that's one way to do it. But if you're traveling, you could still vote online.
Got it.
And I think we should put that link in the YouTube channel. And so people can go there, register themselves as overseas voter, and still vote for the primary.
Absolutely.
Every vote counts.
Absolutely. So you heard it, folks. Every vote counts. And from the traffic, from your representation, from taxes, you can also contribute towards shaping the city future. And Karthik here, thank you very much for coming here and sharing your vision, and wish you all the very best for the elections and the outcome of that.
So my response to that would be, let's convert all the best to congratulations.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
And I need all of your support. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my vision. And keep the feedback coming in. Many of the services that I talked about is based on requests coming from our residents. Can we do this? Can we do that? Right? So that's always good to have the feedback loop from the residents.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Absolutely. That's it, folks. Signing off for Desi TV Sajeev Keswan. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.